Okay, welcome back everyone. In this episode, we're going to do a seat that goes into a food truck. It's going to be the complete process here. We're going to build the wood for it. We have some foam. We're going to go through the whole thing, making the cover for it on the sewing machine. I figure this is a decent upholstery one. But we do have some buckets too we're going to do. That's a little more complicated. There's going to be pleats and all that kind of stuff, but more to learn on that one. But this one here, kind of simple, but you still need a sewing machine. But you can do it with like a, if you was to go to Walmart and purchase a little Singer or whatever they're selling there and get the biggest needle you can put in it and the thickest thread you can get for it. You can get by, I've done it. But we're going to go ahead and get this thing marked out here. Let me get things set up and I'll bring you guys back when we're figuring out the pattern to make for the wood for the frame. Be back shortly. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of jot down some measurements here. Try to get something close. So 16 and 15 and a half on the bottom. That way we can curve our edges.
Smash like.
15 and a half. 16. Okay, the bottom and the top. Imagine it's 16. Yep. And then this one needs to go probably about down to here. 19 by 16. This will get us close anyways. Excuse me. And that's the top. Okay. So what we'll do here is I'm gonna mark it out on the wood here, and then we'll get a saw and cut it. We'll have to probably get it outside so we don't make a big mess in the shop here. So let me get things set up on that and we'll come right back to you. Okay. So we got recording. Yep. 16 by 15 and a half. Let's check this. All right, so we'll go 16 this way. And then we'll do 15 and a half. This will give us a rough cutout. And then we'll stick it on the frame and draw around the curves on the front of it there, just so we have our curve in it. Okay, that's the bottom one. And the top, 16 by 19. So we know this one's 16. So we'll just take it down. Actually, I'll do it. Let me do it this way. And then I'll come out from this side, 19. Yeah, 19. Okay, that's our top. Okay. All right. I'm going to get this thing set up outside the door, get the circular saw out. We'll get these cut out, and then we'll bring them back in and figure out our curves here. Okay, let's get this thing ripped. This weather is something else. All right, let's get our stuff back in and check it out inside. Be right back. Okay, all right, so there's our top. These are just roughs. Get us close anyways. Well, that ain't right. There we go. I was like, I know I cut them both 16. All right, perfect on that. Right to the edge. All right, so now make sure it's all even. Get our marker, give us some kind of shape to it. Problem with this, it's got this curve in it here, so I'm probably going to have to fill that in somehow with a piece of wood or something. That way. Okay, and here's what we look like. Here's what I'm talking about on this. You guys see that little, it's like a curve there. So what I'm thinking about doing is maybe capping that with a piece of wood. Now that might not work either. Well, let me think about that.
Think long, you think wrong.
I may have to go inside of here and put it from the back of the wood to here, some kind of a fill-in panel there. Because these are going to be, once we cut those off, the ears, the corner, oops, sorry. Once we cut those corners off, you got here and there, and then on the bottom, we got that one and that one. So once we cut those off, we'll have our shape. The bottom's going to be basic. The top one, we got to figure out something for this right here. So I'm thinking I might have to make something there, or maybe once I bolt this and make my cover, we'll see how that goes. Let me think about that for a minute. We'll come up with something though. Okay, let me go. I'm gonna cut these off with the jigsaw off camera, and then I'll be back with you guys shortly. So basically, what we done was cut all the ears off here, top, bottom. Basically, from there, we'll just have to make our foam, figure out what we're doing in the top here, as far as filling that part in there. I already showed you guys on that part. And I'll probably just make something out of steel, weld it in there, and so it's solid, and that'll bolt right to it. So let me get that figured out, what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to use for that, should I say. And then I'll bring you guys back and we'll do that. We'll cut the foam out, and then we'll go in the other shop there where the sewing machines are and get that stuff sewed up, or make our patterns and sew it up, paint the frame and put it together. So yeah, I'll bring you guys back when we're figuring out what to do with that steel. Okay, the next step, we got to take these, set them on our foam, mark them, and then cut it out with the favorite turkey knife. I was going to get me a one of those hot blade knives that I still might, I don't know. But this works so good. These, I'll show you here in a minute. All right, let's try this again. I'll tell you what, man. These GoPros, they're nice because they're small. But don't let me do a review on them, because the batteries ain't worth a... You know what? I mean, terrible. I just started, I just put it in there and it said 100%. I start talking on the camera and it's dead.
What? Oh damn, my battery's dead.
That quick. All right. So I marked these out, as you can see there. And actually, that ain't gonna matter either way. Well, let's do this.
For shits and giggles.
Just in case. I mean, that way I got all my leftover on the end. I should have knew better anyways. Okay. Better. Now I can just slice down this way. I don't know if you guys can see. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. They cut great. I've always used this method. Goes through it like butter. I'm gonna cut my curves after. That way I got some control over it. And the thing about it is, you don't have to be perfect with it. Yeah, see, that way I got that strip and that. You don't have to be perfect with it, because you can also take the grinder and clean it. So no matter what. And once the covers are made, that's never going to be a factor anyways. Once you start putting that stuff around it, you'll never see any of this stuff. Yeah, I'll clean them up a little bit with that grinder. Most people say, you're cutting out with a turkey knife?
Right, gobble gobble everybody. It's turkey time.
Yeah. Turkey, ham, whatever you want to. Okay. So now we got our foamage. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, before I go cleaning this up or anything, I'm going to figure out a way to mount this to the frame and figure out what I got to do for that curvy part there at the top. So let me get figured out how I'm going to do that. I may just cut it out on the plasma table. That way it fits it good, and we can just put a little break in it and have a part for this, a flat part where it can bolt to it. So let me think about that for a second, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. Okay, so we're in here. We're getting ready to. We're going to just use some black on it, and basically we need to get a measurement of the top first. Okay, so it's 16.5 by 15.5, and you want to add a 1/2 inch all the way around it for the sewing. I'll show you what I mean when I sew it. So 17.5 by 16.5. All right, let's cut that one first. I might have to, no, I think I got a clean edge. It's just got wrinkled a little. I need to steam it. I'll put that there for my measurement. All right. So we'll go 16.5 this way and 17.5 that way. Okay. All right. That's going to be our top one. Of course, I got to make the curves. So what we want to do with this, make sure you got about a 1/2 inch everywhere. Let me check this thing. Okay, make sure you got 1/2 everywhere. Then we'll draw our curves in it, but we have to cut. I'll show you here. What you want to do is stay on the 1/2 inch side of things. So instead of cutting on the line, we need to cut out here. That's still going to be our sew area. If not, it'll be too small for the seat. And as long as you're close within that 1/2 inch, you're okay. See, so now we got our 1/2 inch everywhere. All right, so now what we need is a measurement this way. So we've got roughly 2 3/4 total. So what we'll do, I'm just going to go 3 1/2 instead of just adding a half. I'm going to add a little bit more. That way, because we can have more stuff in the back to staple with. So we'll go 3 1/2 by, we want to do the circumference of it. Well, so there's roughly 16. Just get an idea. So we got, I'm just going to say 63 inches. That'll give us some playroom. Okay, probably don't have, this is probably not, I forget what the width of this is. Yeah, 55. So we can probably keep some of this for the bottom. Let me just see this way. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is cut up about 1 inch on this. That way I got a little lip there for the rest of that other one. And then we'll cut this off even. Inch there. I don't have a square, so let me try to do this. See how close I can get it. Should be alright. I don't really need to mark it because I'll show you here. I got this little, here it is. This little roller. I use it on my straight across cuts. We'll use it on that other one too. The blade ain't the sharpest anymore, but we'll keep that for the back. Now we said 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and 7 will give us 2 pieces. 3 1/2, 7. We're about ready to go over to the sewing here in a minute. There's that. I've been thinking about it. I think I might go ahead and cut enough to put some piping around it too, just to make it look a little cooler. Instead of just I could just sew it and do a sew over, like a half of a French stitch, but piping's a little more work because you got to make it. I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, that's our sides. And what I usually do for the piping is I'll put the ruler on there, and then I usually pull it down about, I don't know, maybe half or less than half. We'll cut a couple of these. And then you come up with this. I'll show you here in a minute what we're doing with that. Okay, so we forgot to do one thing while we was over there with cutting these out. I only needed a 9-inch piece to complete this when we seam it around the material, and I show you when we're doing it. It'll be like that at the bottom. So I didn't need 2 full pieces of this. So what we'll do, we'll sew these together first before we run our piping in it. Now everybody does these different. You can do your piping as you're putting it around the material, but I like to do it like this just so it's done. You waste a little more thread, but I don't really care. It's just the way I've always done it. So I got my piping up there on a roll, so we'll start at this end. Doesn't matter which end. You just wrap it like that, and you'll need the piping foot. I'm sorry. Anyways, you can do it if you have like a small foot there. You just get it right up to the edge of it. You can get it started, and you just start taking it down. I usually open these up where I sewed it. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'll show you why I do that here in a second. It gives you a clean, like where it's been put together. It's not like a big old lump. It's more cleaner that way. Some people can just fly with this stuff. I can usually keep it going, but I like to keep my edges even, just so when I sew it's an even, like about a 1/2 inch. I'll show you when I'm sewing it to the, oh, we ran out. I've been sewing away. That's the thing that sucks about when you run out. This top feet, I like the top load, but it's just a little, I'll get that later. Now a lot of machines, they load differently with these bobbers, but this one here, you just put it back in like this, flip that down, pull you some extra, pull that out. I'm gonna go ahead and sew this back up, and then I'll show you. I usually start a new bobbin while I'm sewing. That way I got another one ready. So it'll do its winding while I'm sewing. I just try to find about where it stopped or ran out, and I'll double top stitch it, and then just make sure you try to hit your holes. Usually it ain't hard to miss. If not, you'll see them in your end result. That's another reason why I do this like this, slowly. So when I run out of thread, I don't do the full length of it and go, oh man, I got a million holes to try to catch now. That was only about a foot. Usually I catch it sooner, but I'm trying to record and show you guys and everything at once. And I just back stitch that too. I always back stitch and lock stitch it, whatever you want to call it, because of the, just so it stays together better. So, let me cut these. I'll show you on that part where alright, so here where I put it together, if you look, it's a nice clean, when that's sewed into around the seat, it'll look like something that's supposed to be there. And we'll I'll show you how to do this on this end when we're putting it on the rest of it. You kind of got to overlap, cut the piping back out of it so it's not too fat, and then I'll show you. Let me try to get I should just get another bobbin out and worry about that later. Yeah, I find it easier just to start a new one. We'll do that here in a second. I gotta hold that while we're going. All right, we'll sew these together. These are our sides, and then we'll kind of do the same thing we did with the piping with this. We'll cut it back so we don't need as much. So once you get that going, you're good. Yep, we're good. All right, now let me spin this around here so I can show you what I mean about hopefully it ain't too far away. So on this, what I've done with the piping off camera to find out, I'll keep a seam up there, and I just brought them around, and I'll put a mark in it, and then when we get to this point, I can double check as far as if I can shorten it up a little bit more or what. Yeah, normally you try to, when you're doing upholstery work, you try to lay it all out as best as you can so you're not wasting as much, but sometimes like little pieces like this, I'll keep these because I may have a small motorcycle seat or something. I can cut this in half and that one in half and have 4 pieces of small piping or sides, you know, 2 sides, 1 on each side of a motorcycle seat. So I usually just put those up, and they always come in handy, believe me. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to top stitch it with the French stitch. I'll show you what I mean. You see how it looks like right now, and then I'll show you what it looks like here in a second after we do it. That way it's stronger and looks better. Kind of 2 things. Okay, that's one side. That light is sometimes enough. Alright, so now we got a French stitch. And you don't have to do, oh sorry, I'm way up too high. There's your French stitch. You don't have to do it like that. You can just actually do one fold over and do just one stitch, just one top stitch, and that would have been fine too, but I just do these for the heck of it. I mean, why not? All right, let's get our top. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to fold this in half. Grab some scissors. Fold that in half. Cut out a little triangle here. I'll show you in a minute. Those are going to be our centers. A little bit there. So now, when we sew, we can start and stop and know that those are our centers. So you got one at the top, one at the bottom, and then you can do the sides too. I just do them for the heck of it, or you don't have to. I mean, usually on something this small, it's all I really need is the top and bottom, but some people prefer to put them all the way around it. All right, so now we got them all the way around. Okay, so here's what I mean by doing your cut. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take our part that we French stitched, and that's where we're going to start with this on one side. We're going to center that up with the center of that. I'm going to kind of walk it around. Actually, I'm going to put a few more into this, and I'll show you how. But center that up. As I'm going around, I'm just going to cut one little slot in both of them. Hold my hand there. Keep walking this around. Put another one somewhere here. These are the wrong scissors for this. Okay. Then I'll take and put the one we're at right here on the side. That one's going to be kind of a curved one. So what we'll do is we'll start on this edge. Let me clean these out. Same with these. We got that one. Where's our other ones at? I know we put a couple more. Oh, they're up here. All right, so what we'll do, we know that that's our center. We know that that's this one. I'll show you what I mean. Here's our center. There's that one. Around the bend, there's our other one. The one on the middle and the side. So what I'll do is line the side one up. We'll start our stitching about, I don't know, here somewhere. Actually, let me think how I want to do this.
Clock's ticking.
Pass.
So I can end up at the bottom. Yeah, I may want to go ahead and just put another one down here at the bottom. These corners are tough to do, but okay. All right, so now that's where we're going to start. If I didn't just lose all my, all right, there we go. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right, so now on this, what we'll do, we're going to have a start-stop point. I like to try to keep both of our cuts. So I'll put that cut on this mark. And then when we end on that side, I'll try to even it out about the same spot on the other side. So we'll put that down, put this over it. This is where we're going to start at. That's going to be our start. Kind of like a sandwich. Open my needle up. Make sure I have enough thread. You still on it? Yep. All right. So I don't want to start all the way at the edge because I'll show you when we're done. That's where I'm going to overlap, so I need some room to work there. So I'm actually going to come up even a little more. You want to have your foot on that. Make sure it's all at the edge. Okay. So we'll start it and lock stitch it. All right. Now we're locked in. So what I do on these corners, I'm going to grab some scissors, to make them look as close to cornerish as we can, I'll just cut a slit in it about right there. So when we come around that churn, we'll have a place to, let me put another one in it. I usually put 2 or 3 in it. That way I have more playing room. So it'll be about right there. That's where our corner is going to be. All right. And this one we'll just curve around with it. So we'll get up to that point here in a second. So I'll get close to it. Now I'm going to start walking it. The needle's in it. So what I can do now is lift it up with my knee down here. Do my little curve. Put this about where I want it. A little difficult, but now I'll just keep going around with this. You can, I'm doing it like this for you guys, just so you can see what's going on. You can do it with the foot pedal. Then I just keep turning it, keeping the needle in it. You want to keep your needle in it. Okay, now we want to be somewhere close to this thing here, where we was. I should have probably already pulled one of them more or less, so I made sure. You don't want to pull too hard because you'll have a wrinkle, so we'll catch up to it somewhere else. You can make up for it on another end. So just pull your, whatever one you're short on, pull it. So I just pull on the bottom a little because that's the one you can come back. Don't pull too much on the top one because we want it to catch up with the other one now. As far as our marks go, I'll pull a little more. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. We'll add up. We'll make up for it up here. See, I'm already getting close here, but not too much, just a little. You get too much and you're going to have a big wrinkle. We're pretty close here. Now I can make up for it. By the time we get to this middle over here, I need to get some more cuts for our churn here. Here you want to do a few of them because we're going around a good size one here. See now, see how that fits nice around that churn? I try to just walk it all with it. We're gonna come up a little short here, but that's all right. I'll make up for it at the bottom. Try to keep my piping. I'm still pulling on that bottom and trying to push on this top to give it, you know, straighten up our where we want to be at. Actually, let me go back here and do this. Okay, I went off of my thing a little bit. Worried about that mark. These things have gotten duller and duller. I used to cut so nice. Let me try to get this all together here. Let me get it to right here real quick. How this one's cutting so easy. Okay, I want to get it just around this bend and let off, and then we'll fix everything up here because we want it to be closed in. You want to make sure you don't have no wrinkles in that because you'll see it. Okay, let me get this a little bit of a stitch on this bottom and then I'll take this off. All right, now we get to have some fun here. So this one here, we're going to sew up about right, yep, about right there. So we'll do it first. And like I said before, there may be other ways people do this that they've learned over the years. This is the way I've always done it, and it's worked for me. So whatever's going to be your way, stick with it, you know. This one here, I think I'm just going to top stitch once. I just wanted to show you guys how you do that, and then I'll show you this way now. So you got to see both ways. Normally, like on bar stools or something like this food truck, this is all you need to do. You don't need to get real fancy with. I'm just going a little overboard so we can put something on that, you know, on the video, and I'm sure he ain't gonna mind it. All right, there's a single top stitch now, which they both look good. That almost looks like piping, you know, so a lot of people don't care and they just go with that. Okay, so now on the piping, what we need to do is we need to try to do it where you guys can see it. I'm going to cut this one about, we don't want too big of an overlap, so about here. Okay, now what we want to do with this one, take the back stitch out of it, just a little bit. We're going to take some of this piping out and meet them inside of each other. So it's kind of a continuous thing here. All right, so we only want to about right there. Kind of just look at it. So now, when that goes inside there, it meets up with that one, and when it's sewed together, you only have a little bit of an overlap of that material. So it ends up looking good. You'll see here in a minute. Okay, now we have to start our stitch again, where we stopped up here. All right, so now we want to make sure this is all together. That one's in there, that one's on the material, and this one's together. And then you kind of just grab it all, make sure it's all in there. And you want to overlap that one so it looks good. You don't want to see no extra holes from where we took that thread out. Let me get it up to that point. All right, now we can finish off. I always go past a little bit and then take it off the side. Here's what we got. I got a cover. See, there's you just have that one down there, which that's going to be at the bottom. So yeah, like I said, for a little food truck thing, let me spin you back this way. And this is why we went the extra ½ inch for what we just sewed on there, all that stuff. Because now it fits tight to the foam all the way around it. And once we staple that, it'll look nice. So let's flip it up. Oops. Let's flip it over. We'll get our staple gun out. You want to make sure all your corners down here with the material, your foam fits inside of them. So when you start stretching, it's just to the outside of it. I'm putting it all to the outside of the foam, all that stuff, that edge, just so it's tight. And then once we get it stapled, you won't have no big bulky overhangs or. All right, so now we need to make some noise with the compressor. So let me bring you back here in a second. All right, the key to, I already did a few staples off the camera, but the key to this is just make sure you pull about the same amount. You don't want to pull like a whole bunch here and a whole bunch there, then you'll have it very uneven. So we're going to try to keep it even. If that compressor kicks on, I'll probably stop and finish this off camera real quick because that thing is very annoying. And all I use is a little Banks Harbor Freight 28 7/16 wide, like a crown staple. Just a crown on this kind of stuff, like on wood. And I usually go around, go across. Okay, once again, I was worried about that compressor kicking on, but only the stupid battery died. Anyways, I got it all stapled up. Here's what it looks like. We'll steam that and we'll get these couple little things out of it, but all in all, it turned out good. Once we get the top part done, we can figure out, we'll probably put some kind of inserts in the wood or something, I don't know, to mount it to the frame itself. But we'll steam all this and get all the, you know, the little wrinkles out of it and stuff from where it was wrinkled on the roll. But there's our seat. Just a plain Jane little seat, but it'll do well. You know, it's going to serve its purpose. So I'll bring you guys back when we're doing the back one, or the back part of it, and I'll probably paint the frame. We'll spray paint it with some of that black, satin black, and then we'll bolt this thing up and be finished with it. Hopefully tomorrow we'll see what kind of time frame I got. Thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow. All right, we're gonna get the belts and stuff off of this thing. clean it up a little bit. I just want to shoot a little black on it. And then we're going to get our bottom and our tops, make some markings. This already has some holes in it. And I'm going to put these little inserts into the wood, threaded like rivet inserts. And so you just put a bolt in it and it'll tighten it right up to it. They're pretty neat. But we have to drill the bottom one. So I'm going to clean it up, pop these belts off, and then we'll get those in here. And I just want to get this stuff out of the way. That way I can at least just shoot a little paint on it so it looks all right, just so it ain't all rusty and we put a new seat on it. Back part ain't even moving. Well, I can take that one off. I wonder why that other one didn't move. He may not even want to put these back on. I don't know. I'll just give them to him. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if that even. Yeah, this ain't even got a the clicker part in it. Probably not even no good. I'll just give it to him. He can do what he wants with it. Let me set it over here. Okay. Let me go grab these pieces and we'll mark them real quick. Okay. As we remembered, we got our bottom one done. So on this back one, I think I'm going to have to make a little back thing for it so it covers up where the maybe not. We'll see what it looks like after we staple it. But up here where we was talking about making that little thing inside here, I don't think I'm going to do anything with it because this is kind of like a grab bar. You know, it'll be if someone's in the back or whatever, they can hold on to that. So I don't know. It may be something that will work later on in time, but so I don't think I'm going to fool with that. I got to thinking about it, so.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we'll mark these up. We'll put our inserts in it. I probably got to leave that one on there. Yeah, because that wood went down in there some, I think. I think that's how we had it. Let me grab the foam. Yeah, so that goes down in there a little bit. We got to make sure we leave it down in there. I think I had it about right there. Yep. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my marker, since the back already has holes in it. See if I can get to it. Yeah, there's little holes. I can't get that through it. Let me get a poke. Let me get a little mark or a clicker thing. I don't even know what they call them. Punch. One of these things. These are pretty cool. You just push them and they click, and you can make your mark with it. Pretty neat. Good for metal, for whatever. See if I can do this. Try to get it right in the center. It's too deep to click, but I think I'm making little pokes in it. And then we just got to find the right bolts. Let's see if we got marks. Yep. All right, we got our marks. I can clearly see these. Well, they're right to the edge. Oh, there's that one. I'd say this one's up here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it looks about right. Okay, that one's marked. I hope I have enough, yeah, for those to grab. I just got to be real careful. That's why I use the stronger plywood too. I knew when I was going to be doing this that I needed it to be strong. I don't know where it was going to end up, so I'm glad I remembered to do that. But let's get our bottom ones drilled, and then we can mark it. I'll probably drill downwards. Give me 1 second. Let me get the drill and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go try to get something. So 4.5 from the back bar, roughly. Get us close here, and then we'll go. Let's go 7 inches from that hole. Try to keep everything somewhat uniform. And then let's put one right in the middle up here. So that in between 14, so that'll be 7. Right about there. All right, so here's what this thing does. Some of you might already know, but kind of gives you like a pilot for your bit to start drilling. I ain't even gonna say nothing about that phone.
It's driving me crazy.
I already got this one, but we'll do it again. Okay. So now, these bits need sharpened. I hope I find a good one here. I don't think this was one. I need to pull these things all out. Let me try to go a smaller one first, if those ain't all dull. Let me pre-drill these and I'll bring you back. Okay, so we went ahead and did this one. I did it off camera real quick. I had a buddy stop over. We started talking and I got sidetracked. So anyhow, we got these all in. I'm getting ready to drill the bottom. I'll show you what they do here. Well, let me just do one on here and show you. I got it all marked. I just got to be careful because we're right to the... I probably should have done this while there was nothing on it, like this one, where it's not covered yet. But so I got to be real careful here. So you got to drill your hole. I'll show you guys once I get this hole drilled. So now we put one of these, we screw it onto that, then you insert it into your metal, your wood, whatever you're doing it in. Is that the right bit? Oh no, that's the one for the frame. I was like, that ain't fitting. Let me clean that out a little bit. Okay. All right, so you put it in there until it's flush. Okay, open it up, give it a couple of turns, just like a rivet, basically, and it just tightens up against the wood. I'll show you here in a minute. And it gives us a place to screw our bolt into it. Pretty cool, actually. But like I said, I should have done that before I covered it. I was just trying to hurry up and get the video going and all the above. That gets you in trouble when you hurry like that.
You think?
Luckily, it hasn't yet. So anyhow, there's one. So then you just take it, we'll put it through the frame. We got a bolt hole or a place to put our bolt in. I probably covered the whole mic up. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish drilling those out, and I'll bring you guys back here in a few. We'll bolt it all up together and see what it looks like, and then we'll finish covering this one here. Actually, I had to re-drill some holes in the back of this one. They were too far to the edge, so I redid them. So I'll clean this all up. I might even tack weld the old one shut. That way there's no holes there before we paint it. And I think we probably will. And clean up all the rest of them, put some paint on that, and then we'll go over and cover that. So I'll bring you back shortly. All right, let me try to fill you in on what's happened here. So this frame on this seat, there's something going on with this tube here. So when I set my cushion down and kind of got both sides as even as I could to match the back, somewhere it's not perfect. So anyways.
It's okay, a little crooked.
It left me with no room when I drilled the holes to catch my threaded rivets in. So what I had to do was, you can see here, I had to notch that out, and I made two bushings, two sleeves on the up and down side of this side. So now I'm gonna get them as tight as I can right there. I'm gonna tack weld it, get the cushion out of the way, and finish welding them in. So essentially we'll have, you know, to be like a bushing in there. We'll weld that all up and make it all nice and strong so the hole's actually in a little more. Like I said, I don't know where or what's happened with this frame, but it's just an older, you know, frame deal thing. So anyway, it's one of them things. But let's go ahead and tack it real quick and get this thing out of the way. I don't want to burn up this cushion, so let me try to get one down here first. I get it. Now we got it. Let me get one on the bottom. Okay, that one's good. Let me hit this one. Okay, one more on the bottom. Okay, good. So now all of our holes are perfectly lined up, and it matches the back panel. You know, once the cushion's on, everything's good to go. I had to take that big mount off the bottom. So if you can see there, you know, it's all in good shape. The foam's over there, but I'm gonna pop this off. I'm gonna weld those in, and then finally we'll be ready to get this thing cleaned up a little bit and paint it. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna weld these old holes up on the back too. Clean all that up with the grinder real quick. I don't think you guys want to watch that on camera. And then I'll bring you back. We'll shoot some paint on it. We'll get back over finally in the sewing machine room and make the other cover for the back there. And then we're pretty much bolting it back together after that. All right, be back here shortly. All right, got all the holes welded up, sleeves welded up. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and then we'll you're ready for some paint finally. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let me clean some of this up, and I'll bring you guys back here within a couple minutes. Okay, we got most of her cleaned up there. Let me kind of show you. So all of our holes that were needing to be filled are filled. I filled these. There's no reason for that one or in the front. These turned out pretty good here. The little sleeves we put in, and it all bolts together nicely now. So I'm going to wipe this down with something, blow it off, wipe it down with a little thinner or something like that, just so I can get the paint to stick to it. It ain't gotta be perfect. I mean, if it was like a, you know, showpiece or some kind of a like a car deal or something like that, you know, then we'd sandblast it and make it real nice. But it don't even need it, you know what I mean? It's just gonna, like I said, going in a food truck. We'll just get some color on it, get it looking nice, and he'll be very happy with it. I didn't expect none of this crap here, you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know what's going on with it. If you look at it at certain angles, it's almost like when they bent the frame, one part's cocked up like that, and then it's shifted in down at the bottom. So in order to get the pads to look right on there, where they line up nice and look good, you know, one side was flush and one side was not enough material. So that's exactly what happened down here, why we had to add those in there. So now that that's done, like I said, we're gonna get this cleaned up a little bit, get some paint on it. I don't know if I'm gonna show the complete sewing of the back cushion. We've already done it. It's really a waste, but maybe I'll do some of it. We'll see. But definitely I'll bring you guys back after we're to that point. So appreciate you guys hanging in there and watching, and we'll be back shortly. Put some denatured alcohol on it, just a little bit, nothing real. Just get some of the hand oils off of it and stuff like that. No real big thing. Like I said, the main objective here is just to get the, you know, just some of the crappy stuff looking stuff. You'd be surprised what a little bit of that will do. All right, let's get a little bit of color on it. I'm not gonna go too crazy here. Like I said, we'll get the bottom up a little bit, just so it don't rust on them where we grinded it and where it's looking a little rusty from before. So it looks all right. I hate painting in here when my computer's on because it'll suck it into it. The fans will suck it into it, so try and just do it lightly. It's clear over there, but it don't matter. It will get to it. As you can see, it's looking so much better, you know. Oh, I hate that phone. All right. Like I said, just as long as we got the main stuff covered up pretty good, and it will look better. I mean,
You keep telling yourself that.
does look better just already, you know it. So, all right, cool. We got that. We still got to spray that very bottom part. We can do that last after it's all put together. Ain't no rush on that. All right, well, like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to do on the sewing of the back piece, but I'll probably do a little bit, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're putting it all together there. All right, see you in a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm not going to put all this on video because we've already done it once. So, let me turn you guys this way. Okay, we've already got our sides cut, the top piece, the piping, everything's done. I'm gonna sew it up. It's a little bit different, and I'll show you guys when I'm stapling it on, because this piece of wood here goes behind our lower panel. So the way I have to do it, it's gonna be here. It'll be on the front of this piece of wood. We'll probably wrap it first, because the sides are going to be exposed. I'll probably put a little piece of vinyl on each corner and then put my top down so that there's no wood showing on the sides. And I'll show you what I mean by that once we get to that. So let me get this sewed up real quick. Like I said, we've already done it to this one, so there's no sense in going through all that again. I'll get that far, and then I'll bring you guys back here probably within about 10 minutes. Okay, so what we've done here, we got her all done, looking pretty good. I had to add a piece of vinyl to the back so you couldn't see the wood there. I'm taking these washers and I'm putting a little bend in them here. So all I'm doing there, I'm just putting them around this pipe, clamping them down, and then that's it. Makes it fit nice and it looks good, curves the bar, everything stays tight. I'm gonna go ahead and do the board for the bottom. I'm going to paint the bottom thing that goes on the bottom of the tracks, and we'll tighten it all up. I'll bring you guys back and show you the finished product. But all in all, that thing's turned out pretty good for what it was. Okay, give me a few and I'll be back shortly. All right, well guys, there we have it. It's hard to put that thing up the way it is. But anyways, we got it done. Looks pretty good. All in all, I think he'll be happy. The back looks good with the, yeah, let's do that. Let me try to get that up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. All of it did. Not a bad little seat, man, really. Cool. All right, you guys, that about wraps it up for this one. Like I said before, like I always say, thank you so much for watching, for the likes, subscribes, for all of it. I got a couple other ones I'm working on now. I got a motorcycle seat, some bucket seats. I got a how you save gas video that's a proven way. I said it in the last video. I just got to finish it. I just got so much going on. I'm trying to get these things going out, these videos. I got a couple will it starts. One car's been sitting since I think like the late 80s, early 90s. Pretty nice Camaro, a Z28. I think it's an 80s model, 87, 88, something like that maybe. Somewhere around in there. But was a pretty sharp car back in the day. But anyways, I'm going to get that stuff rolling here hopefully soon. Once again, thank you guys so much. Until the next one.